we touched on muscle mass, like the bro side of exercising, but what about more general activity outside of that?
Yes.
Walking and stretching and cardio and all that stuff.
So stretching, no reliable mechanism by which it'll let you live longer, but generally a moderate to high amount of physical activity has a good combination of promoting the longest lifespan and the longest health span. I think that's like a Peter Attia book title I just said by accident. That, the keeping the morbidity low, having the higher quality of life. Because, so something like, just for people's reference frame, 6 to 12,000 steps per day for most people is totally cool. But a better way to put that is probably if you're doing a lot fewer than 5,000 or 6,000 steps per day all the time, and you don't get a lot of physical activity otherwise, you could be living longer if you did more physical activity in most cases.
Just to touch on that, I think I'm a good avatar for the gym bro who goes quite hard for an hour and then is sedentary for a lot of the day. I'm doing some exercise. I'm doing probably significant 95th percentile intense exercise, but I'm also not moving quite so much. What would you say? I imagine a lot of the audience fits into this particular bracket.
I think you're doing really well for yourself. If you wanted a small but meaningful enhancer to quality of life and longevity later down the road, you would break up your periods of physical inactivity at least another one time in the day for a serious bout of some kind of aerobic output, be it walking, as easily as that, all the way up to pretty difficult aerobic activity. And so if you lift weights and you do all that, and if you get, roughly 10,000-ish steps a day, very roughly, huge variation for individuals, you're pretty good to go, but there's probably almost certainly a morbidity reduction way of doing it, and probably increases your lifespan by a little bit if you have several sessions a week, 2 to 4 sessions of 30 to 60 minutes of intense cardiovascular activity. And for most people, a really easy way to measure that is, can you have a conversation with someone while you exercise? I don't mean a few words here and there, like, oh, I'm doing good. See you tomorrow. Like, not that. I'm talking about like consistent conversation like you and I are having now. You and I can have this conversation on a walk, no problem. If we were in really good shape, we could have it on a jog, but we're not pushing the pace with aerobic exercise if we can talk. So if you can't talk and you're huffing and puffing, doing that at least twice a week for 30 minutes on end, and all the way up to 4 times a week for 60 minutes on end, or any combination therein, is probably that extra cherry on top for longevity and quality of life enhancement. So if you really want to live as long as possible, I would say some pretty intense regular aerobic activity is probably a good thing and unlikely to be a bad thing.
Is that something that you're thinking about now that you're out of, I just want to be as big and lean as possible world? Or do you see your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as, is that contributing in that sort of manner?
My Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu definitely counts as that. And I do BJJ now roughly 5 times a week. And at least a few of those sessions have me huffing and puffing. So I'm probably taking good care of that. I am absolutely not the model for longevity and quality of life. I'm in a very perverse, very strange path, a very understood, very chosen path.
I think you've at least partly ejected yourself out of that, or sort of gently come into land.
Yeah, I stopped abuse level steroid dosing.
But yeah, it just makes me think again. I have this idea called the menopause. Guys at some point between 28 and 45 that have just wanted to get as jacked and lean as possible. Maybe they have or haven't abused PEDs. Maybe they have or haven't ever tried to do different training modalities. Realize that they become chronically aware of their own mortality.
Yeah.
And they think, hey, I shouldn't be out of breath going up those stairs, or whatever. I can't touch my toes, or my shoulder hurts always.
Yes.
Just again, thinking about people pivoting out of that. And it seems to me that if cardio, which for some people is fun apparently, but for other people you need to game it like you have, which is choke the guy. My heart rate's high. I was trying to choke the guy. My heart rate got high. For me, pickleball is a good example. I'm chasing a ball around a thing.
Very British way of engaging.
That would be, maybe not boules or polo. But yeah, just trying to think about some of the easiest ways for the non-cardio lovers to get themselves to that place?
For sure. That's a great question, Chris, a great statement, because we know from the exercise participation literature, in the physical activity participation literature, I actually used to teach a class dedicated pretty much to this.
That is encouraging people to participate.
And behavior.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Health behavior is a trip. Like, we know pretty well what to tell people to do, but then they're like, and you're like, okay, they won't do it. How do we get them to do it? A big part of that is a two-factor thing. One is your physical activity should be pretty fun, and it should also hopefully be something that involves you with other people so that the community reinforcement part is in play, and that you have the situation where if you just don't feel like it someday, your airsoft team is still meeting up to shoot airsoft pellets at each other. You better be there. And so you just end up falling in. And if you fall out of activity that nobody gives a shit because you're just on a treadmill at home and you have no friends and no one to talk to, you're maybe kind of done. But if people are like, dude, are you going to make it to jiu-jitsu again? I heard you healed up. You're like, I should go back. I love jiu-jitsu. Okay, I'm going back.
The fucking social pressure usefulness. That was the thing that I realized when I started doing CrossFit and any fighting, that, your most training for most people, unless you have a really cool gym training buddy, is you steeping in your own neuroses as you stare in the mirror listening to metal or dark thoughts if it's you. And
or nothing. Yeah. Exactly.
And I realized, this is awesome. I'm like outsourcing all of my exercise motivation to this group of people around me. It lightens the burden of me having to do this thing that I kind of probably didn't want to do.
Yes. And I don't want people to misinterpret that as being like, you got to bully your friends into exercise.
See that?
That was good. Have you considered playing American football?
I played cricket for a long time.
Excellent.
That's it.
I don't want people to misconstrue this as us saying you need to bully your friends into exercise. There's a latent, assumed expectation that people have that you're going to come back to aerobics class, that you're going to come back to the pickleball situation, jiu-jitsu, whatever it is. And that internally to people, without anyone ever saying anything, you have this thought of like, well, all the guys are at jiu-jitsu. I'm going to go.
Social pressure is a hell of a drug.
It's a big deal. And also, to the earlier point, like, it should be something that you ideally look forward to and that it's fun. You don't want physical activity and nutrition and everything and longevity pursuit to start feeling like medicine, to start feeling you just swallow the horse tablet and then you're good to go. People generally don't tend to stick to that sort of thing. And the discomfort of it, the less enjoyment that you have, the less involvement that you have, already actually X's off another longevity variable we'll discuss later, which is like life involvement. So if you like what you're doing it with friends, and it's healthy for you, fuck, man, you got a real good thing going.
Yeah, I suppose there's a few times where a more nuclear option is required. If you're Ethan Suplee that you got to meet the other day and you're 530 pounds and you're going to get down to 250 or something.
You got to do the thing.
Yeah, you eat the horse tablet all day. But yeah, for most people, there are easier ways to kind of increase compliance. Yes. I love that. I didn't even know that exercise behavior, was it?
Yes, health behavior in general.
Health behavior. I didn't even know, but it makes complete sense.
Yeah.
Over the span of about a year, I tried pretty much every green strength that I could to work out which one was best. And I came across AG1 and I've stuck with it for 3 years because it is the best. It's the most comprehensive, highly tested, and rigorously formulated. 1 scoop of AG1 contains 75 vitamins, minerals, and whole food sourced ingredients, including a multivitamin, pre- and probiotic, green superfood blend, and more that all work together to fill the nutritional gaps in your diet. It increases energy and focus and helps with your digestion. Best of all, there is a 90-day money-back guarantee. So you might not be sure. You might think that this is a big commitment, but no, it isn't, because you can buy it and try it every single day for 3 months. And if you don't like it, just give you your money back. Right now, AG1 is running a special Black Friday offer for all of November. You get a year's free supply, vitamin D3, K2, 5 free AG1 travel packs, plus a free bonus gift. Just go to the link in the description below or head to drinkag1.com/modernwisdom. That's drinkag1.com/modernwisdom. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you enjoyed that clip, which, come on, you did, how about watching the full episode with the beautiful Dr. Mike right here?